Call it broke, call it fate. We're gonna fix it either way. When our fears in the night take too much space, gonna breathe deep and find our way. We're gonna breathe deep and find our way. When our truths come to light, we're gonna let go to make it right. Do our work on the storm and we'll find that we're stronger than we think. And we'll work harder every day. Call it late, but it's right. We're taking chances with these hearts tonight. Souls on fire, we can't wait. No, we can't hide. Call it late, but it's right. We're taking chances with these hearts tonight. Souls on fire, we can't wait. No, we can't hide. No, we
I'm Craig Milton.
Deb Taylor.
Oh, we got married under those two trees before this fence and everything was here. That's why we could never move now. We're fused to this land. Bex has this just this kind of warm, real low end in her voice that you don't often get with a lot of female singers. That just makes her really unique to listen to. And Josh, he's almost ethereal. I can't quite put my finger on it. He's, sometimes you feel like he feels like he's Paul Simon or Joni Mitchell or something. But then he's something else again, and you can't quite nail it down. And we've seen him hundreds of hours, 100 hours probably of watching Josh play, and there's always something new to find in his performances and in his voice. He's an extraordinary artist. It was a particularly great night. They had a new album came out like the day before. That album is fantastic. It's very emotional. The whole second set that evening, they just played the album from front to back in order, and it was a beautiful experience. And like you said, they shared their honest stories and their honest feelings. That's that looking into the window of their hearts. That's a fantastic way to describe how house concerts are. We've become completely spoiled now. These people are listening. They're paying attention. They can tell their stories, and extremely intimate way to hear music. Where you come from, what your age and your thing is. When we're there, even though politics might come up a little bit, it's not prevalent. It doesn't change the experience that's happening, and that's what we really appreciate in those concerts and stuff. We have just an extraordinary demand now. Word has got out in the musical community. We have a suite we built specifically for them to stay if they're coming from out of town. If we know somebody isn't local, we try to make sure there's some food here. We make chili or stew or something. 100% of all the money that's raised here goes to the artist. They don't have to advertise it. It's all done through my email list. We've tried to create as much as we can the easiest environment for them to just come, set up and play. We've tried, in spite of our, we do the sanctuary and we are vegans and stuff, we've tried to keep those worlds separate. you can be vegan and be healthy, but the vegan part, that word actually means to do as little harm as is practical and possible to animals. That's what that means. So, hey, Daisy bird. Hey, do you want to get back down there and eat some worms? I saw an owl this morning flying by, so we've been lucky so far. We've got lots of trees and stuff, and the chickens are really careful about running and hiding if they see a bird fly by, and we've got 3 roosters to warn them. The ducks, however, yeah, they're not as good at hiding. They just kind of hang out. On our sanctuary, we have 40-something animals here now, excluding the feeder cockroaches, which add about 600 more. 3, I guess. We got 1 new one yesterday, so, and 2 new ones last week, so 45.
Goats and sheep and chickens and ducks, a snake,
Chameleon.
And
2 dogs.
2 dogs.
That's the one thing, because I do all the care. All the animals look at me as the taskmaster, where Deb's just this lovely person that flits up and gives them treats every once in a while. That's the way we all feel about Deb. I always kept reptiles as a kid, or not a kid, but a young man. Up until I had my own children, I had hundreds of reptiles. I bred snakes and lizards and all that kind of stuff. It was my first love. Then my daughter had some friends passing around this snake, and it was doing pretty poorly. It was pretty unhealthy. They didn't know what they were doing, and it was getting kind of sick. So she asked if we wanted it, and I really didn't. But I just, because of the way we are about animals, we just knew I could take better care of them. So we brought her here, and that's been 3 years or so, and she's doing very well. Once my daughter became an assistant at the vet clinic, they had somebody surrender a chameleon to them, and same thing, she called him, "Do you want a chameleon?" I'm like, "No, I don't want a chameleon." It's like, at all. It's like I knew what was involved. But she said, well, no one else will take it, and it came through the Okanagan Humane Society too, and they couldn't find another home, so we took him, and his name's Bishop, and he lives with us now too. So we have the 2 reptiles. That's how we got them.
Craig feeds the animals. He does everything with the animals, actually. In the wintertime, we don't have water up in the hill. He has to haul up pails of water up the hill in the ice and snow, and he takes care of all the sanctuary animals. I take care of the dogs.
Rescuing dogs was certainly a thing that we already were doing. Particularly, we kind of focus on geriatric dogs because they have a tougher time getting homes. And we'd become vegan a couple years before, and it was just a way to, once we knew more about animals, we realized that these animals get discarded in a way at a certain point, especially the chickens. And we just had the space and the care to do it. Our neighbor is actually keeping another neighbor's cattle on his property, and so we're going to put a gate in between our properties so that those cattle can then graze on our property too. So it's kind of neat, because it's kind of I was thinking about this morning. It's, instead of building fences, we're building a gate with our neighbor and then sharing our land with another neighbor to feed his cattle. So it's kind of a cool thing to do.
His firm merged with the company that I was working with, but before that I had my own drafting company that I moved from Calgary. And so when that one closed, they laid everybody off, and so I just thought, well, I'll just start up my own company again, and easy, whatever. I still have most of my clients and everything. And so Craig did a bunch of interviewing around and got a number of offers, but I suggested maybe he just come work with me, and he did. So yeah. It's been pretty easy, actually. We do different type of work. Like, he does more design orientated architect-y type stuff, and I'm more technical. I like doing, how do you build it? How do you make it energy efficient or whatnot? Like, I like the details of it. So yeah.
Well, let's go walk around the sanctuary and take a look at the animals here, the other residents that share our property with us. Hey, birdos.
Hello.
Daisy. Come here, Daisy bird. Come here. Yes, a good girl, hey? Yeah, Daisy's by far our most friendly one. She has no trouble getting picked up. We used to have one more, Telly, who liked being picked up, but now Telly used to escape a lot, and so now she knows I'm always catching her to put her over the fence.
Daisy bird.
Oh, well, you already ate all those worms, you guys? There's a whole bunch more up here. The chickens this time of day, they like being in the shadows.
Something's happening. You're going to be there, right? You're going to be in the middle of it. Hi. Hi.
That's Mo.
That's no. It's going to get weird here.
He's a little weird sometimes.
But he likes having attention.
Yeah, he likes the attention though. Their tongue is how they sort of taste the air, and they learn all kinds of things. They learn about if there's predators around, if there's prey around, if there's water nearby. They can sense the temperature change to about 1,000th of a degree. So it's a ton of information, probably more information than we get through our eyes. They're getting through their tongue. I usually like to put her up on a tree or something because they're fantastic climbers, and they have incredible strength in their bodies. For next year, I have a wait list of 36, 40, something like that artists. And then what just happened is they play together. Those people, they meet each other at festivals and stuff, and so words got out. And so every week I'm getting an email from somebody's management or an artist themselves. Initially, I was kind of going through like Josh and Dan and some of the guys. I know Brent Tyler is another fellow he's from Penticton. He plays here. He was one of our favorites early on, and he started playing here. And then they would know people, and then they would pass the word around. Ryan McAllister is our next artist. He's playing here on July 9th. And he came to us by Roger Gillespie, who is with Hester Creek. And I think Ryan was playing there, and Roger texted me that day and said, you got to get this guy to come. And so he set up the connection that way. I downloaded Ryan's album that day, and I kept playing him all the time. And Deb would always.
And I kept saying, who is this? I just really love this. Who is this? And it happened like 5-6 times. Yeah. So anyway, then he tells me that he booked him. I'm like, awesome.
I would always say, that's Ryan McAllister again. And then, so we just immediately fell in love with his second album, and then I downloaded the first one, and now we listen to them both all the time. And that's how it kind of happens. People contact me, and then it's our place, so we have to kind of like the artist too. And then talking to Ryan immediately, he just seemed like a really nice guy. It seems like he's got a real cool world going on there too. They're flower farmers, I think, or something, and so they got a pretty cool life going, and he just sort of fit with the kind of things that we love. And so that's how he came to be. Communicate with each other. And so what they have there, I know. The ducks.
The poppies.
The ducks like to lay their eggs in the poppy bush there. Oh, here comes the train. I grew up in Calgary, and my dad started bringing us to Penticton when I was 4 or 5 years old. And we came every summer up until I started working and couldn't come anymore. And we drove past Summerland every time. We never stopped here for any reason. Like, I had no idea any of this was back here till I lived here. Like, this is like Italy or something back here. It's so beautiful. This valley is so beautiful. And how many people never see it or have any idea that this is here? Yeah, you want to keep it secret too, but at the same time, your town needs to do something to thrive because it has to live beyond certain generations, right? Sunday? Don't get too drunk. Stay away from boys. Keep your keys in your hand all the time. In the butterfly, will my face turn towards the sky?